Orlando Pirates in that second half. Maswangani as well as Mabasa getting the 2 goals that got Pirates the victory. Yeah, looking forward to what should be a really exciting weekend with regards to Orlando Pirates, but they managed to get a victory at the very ground where they'll be playing that Nedbank Cup final. Khumbudzo Manenza, you had the bird's eye view in commentary. Your observation of the game, because it's one way there was a difficult 3 points for Pirates to come and get you.
I'm trying to be in Jose Rivero's shoes before the game. I think after the derby, he's thinking, what do I do with Riley Mofokeng with 3 yellow cards? What do I do to rest Dion Otto? And he managed to rest 7 of his regulars today. But not only resting his regulars, I'll come back and say he has bought a player in Karim. He has bought a player in Madiba. And that's some of the wins that he had in tonight's game. On the other side, for Mangoba Mngeti, it's a worrying time because you're looking at this Golden Arrows team that got 3 from Stellenbosch. It was not a true reflection of the game. But again, they deal well with the first phase of defending. The second phase, they don't deal with it once again tonight. And Orlando Pirates goes on to punish them, and Mabasa gets an excellent goal to be able to wrap up the game.
I think Khumbudzo also Selepe was very impressed with him coming in place of Makola. And a number of players putting their hands up for the weekend, like I said, and this was a fantastic opportunity for them to do that. Got to feel sorry for Arrows, especially in the first half, the way that they pressed so successfully. Tanti was a constant pawn down that right-hand side for them. And Wangwe, I thought, was a great box-to-box player today, putting in a fantastic shift. But again, just critical moments of the game where they went to sleep, particularly for that winning goal.
I think whenever met, the coach gives an opportunity to players like tonight. You ask yourself to say, I said in commentary that Mabasa is going to give him sleepless nights. I said Tito Maswangani is going to give him sleepless nights. Karim Kimvuidi gets man of the match tonight. It's 3 days away from the final. What do you do with the man of the match? What do you do with a Tito that looks revived? What do you do with the Tsegofa Mabasa that finishes like that? And I think he has bought himself pressure by giving these guys an opportunity. The man in your picture, Mabasa, the leading goal scorer in all competitions for Orlando Pirates. He grabbed goal number 6 in the league tonight. I think he's putting pressure to say, Coach, if you're thinking about Mahopa, I'm also here.
Yeah,
I think also, sorry, so I also think that, with Kimvuidi, if he was in the mix for the last couple of seasons, I think the points difference between Pirates and Sundowns would have closed dramatically. If he had been playing regularly, if he had been in form, unfortunately he hasn't been. But then we saw a glimpse of what he has to offer today, and let's see what Jose decides on the weekend.
Yeah, look, I think it's a healthy headache for any coach to have when you have players that can give you an option, especially an option where maybe you look at it, Khumbudzo, you go into that final, all of a sudden the opposition has a few other players to think of. What if the coach plays 1, 2, or 3?
Yeah, I know that maybe the Chiefs analysis department will be here. I know that maybe Coach Nabi is watching the game. Now he starts to think, to say, what are Pirates going to do with Kimvuidi's man of the match performance? What are they going to do with a Tito? What are they going to do with a Mabasa? There's a lot that Kaizer Chiefs has to think about, having watched the game tonight. And most of the players that we're speaking about now, mate, it's not players that even played in the previous derby a couple of days ago.
I think Karim, similar to Themba Zwane, I think Karim is not loaded enough to start. That's a bit unrealistic, but he's probably earned his place on the bench for the weekend. Similar to Zwane against Salari coming back. So yeah, it's a difficult one, and it's great to see youngsters getting an opportunity here again in front of this fantastic crowd stadium, and I'm sure they're going to enjoy the weekend as well.
Yeah, I tell you what, the Buccaneers fans would have enjoyed. It was that opening goal, and straight away we heard the big chant, Tito, 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 composure, round the keeper, a good finish for moving.
I think I'll go back to the point that Matthew made, the young Selepe coming into that second 45, solidifying that midfield. He's the one that did the combination pass with the Dlamini. An excellent ball by Kabelo Dlamini to be able to find Tito Maswangani. Excellent finish composure to round the keeper, then score the goal. Any young coaches watching this, you don't play a high line when there's no pressure on the ball carrier. There was no pressure on Dlamini. How do you play a high line? And Tito Masongani rounds the keeper and finds the finish.
The one player that Matthew was really impressed with today is Tad. He deserved goal, and one that would have been tough to pick up for Italy's goal.
Yeah, again, a little bit of a scrappy build-up, after the turnover. But the ball is whipped in at such pace that Tanti, just similar to the Sabeli goal against for TS, he's just got to stick his foot out there at the right time, and the cross will do the work off the toe of the boot.
Yeah, this was a moment that had the Pirates bench really livid. Some of my club there clashing with Bakiso Marco, but a brilliant finish here. No doubt, a bread and butter for a player like Mawasa in that box.
The goal, Yamanaka, well taken on the volley. I think this just says a lot about the quality of the man. He has got the time to control the ball. He's got the time to make that first touch. But he backs his abilities and says, I will take it first time, Mabasa. Well taken goal by Mabasa. But for me, again, his coaching points. Arrows, it's a lateral free kick. It's brought in, they deal well with the first phase. Second phase, they don't press the ball. Second phase, they don't pick up the man when the ball is brought back into the box and Mabasa finishes.
Yeah, finishes really well. Matt, are you enjoying it?
Yeah, no, good. I think Musa Bilankulu will be disappointed with the way that they defended though. The first phase, you've got to be set. The ball moves, you move. The second phase, you've still got to be set, and organized. And unfortunately, in that instance, they weren't. And we've seen against Stellenbosch as well, they weren't. And so, those phases that Pumuzo talks about are all important, and you've got to be set, you've got to be organized, but they weren't in that step.
Yeah, they'll be disappointed with those particular moments. And of course, the overall numbers, when you speak of the game, Arrows having the more goal attempts, but it was Pirates who got more goals and 3 shots on target for them. Possession, Pirates having a lot of the ball. Is there anything there that stands out, Pumuzo, you think Pirates will want to up certain things? Will they want to up the shots on target, for example?
When I'm looking at these stats, and I'm I'll be disappointed to say I created most of the opportunities. I got most of those opportunities on target. Now you go back to your game plan as the coach to say, what did I want out of this? What I wanted was play with a false line, to be able to have mobility in the last line, be able to take away a reference for Toki and Bogazi, and be able to create opportunities with late runs into the box. His team did that. They're just unfortunate not to be on the winning side tonight.
Yeah, disappointed, no doubt, with regards to that. And of course, first half conducted themselves very well, did Golden Arrows, but the second half, unfortunately, Pirates getting those goals. Now, as it stands, with regards to the log standings, it's getting quite interesting in the Betway Premiership. And of course, at the very top, the Pirates getting 52 points. But that battle for the CAF Confederation Cup spots, Matthew, really continue to be really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we talk about the number 1 and number 2, but that's still up for grabs, I think. But number 3 and number 4 is really where we're looking at now. That's the true battle. And of course, down at the bottom as well, the City and Golden Arrows issue. So, yeah, there's a number of battles there. Also, top 8. We've got to have a look at that and see what's going on. Obviously, Polokwane and Chippa have got a lot to do to remain there.
Yeah, 26 points for Golden Arrows, 3 points above Cape Town City. SuperSport United did themselves a big justice by getting that victory in their last game.
What will be key in that relegation battle or the playoff spot is SuperSport keeping Bradley Grobler fit for the rest of those games is key. Sahil has been performing, but he needs to just do it consistently. So SuperSport, I think they need one more game for them to be safe. But I'm confident that SuperSport will not be dragged in there because Bradley Grobler is fit.
All right, fair enough. I tell you, it has been one of those absorbing games where it ebbed and flowed from the first half to the second half, and it is Pirates that eventually walk away with a 2-1 victory. Now, tomorrow we obviously have Sundowns in action. They are taking on Chippa United, and that promises to be another really good game. for them. So much to do. Can they get the job done, Matthew? Your former side, you see them winning tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so. I think the momentum is behind them. I think they tried their best to try and get as many of the league games out the way before they went into the Champions League run, and before the final and before the Intercontinental tournament.
Yeah, the Betway Premiership.
They've been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, even though the season's pretty much done and dusted with regards to the outcome, Sundowns will still want to go into that, get those points. And from a coaching perspective, I know Coach Cardoso has spoken about the fact that regardless of what's in front of them, it's all about winning and having that winning culture.
I think what's happening for Mamelodi Sundowns camp is something that is similar to what happened tonight. All the players that are being given an opportunity now, they need to put up their hands to say, I still deserve to be a Mamelodi Sundowns player for next season. I deserve to be part of that CAF Champions League squad to go and either start the game or be on the bench. So there's still a lot to play for Mamelodi Sundowns. They're also chasing the record for the most goals scored in a single season. They still have that record to worry about. That is Mamelodi Sundowns. So I'm sure nobody's going to drop the ball at the clock of camp.
An ideal situation is that you have that competitiveness throughout the season, but ultimately, when you see the prize at the end of the road, that competition and ring training can't help but be lifted up, and that's only something that a coach likes to see, and it's human nature to do it before a big cup final.
Yeah, look, that cup final is going to be an exciting one. It's going to be a blockbuster one right here in Durban. And of course, it is Orlando Pirates up against Kaizer Chiefs. Pirates looking to once again get their hands on that trophy. This is how it's going to be. 2 o'clock and the build-up starts. It's going to be fantastic. And as always, live on Super Sports PSL. Martini Sika Zini forever. The Nedbank Cup final. It's going to be exciting. Iona! That is the slogan for that particular tournament. So looking forward to it. Thank you to Matthew Booth as well as Pumuzo Manenze. It's been a beautiful, beautiful evening of football. And Durban fans are leaving the stadium saying to themselves, Orlando Pirates, thumbs up. Golden Arrows. Tomorrow is another day.